Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another State of the Market for January 2023. January just flew by. Today is February 1st. I would like to wish my beautiful wife a happy birthday. On that note, we have our State of the Market sectors we're going to go over with everybody in a second, and we'll just jump right in here. We got some really good information for you today, and we're happy to share that with all of you. So I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen and pull up my info. All right. So one of the sectors that we always talk about is the median sales price, right? So for the end of January, the median sales price was 645,000. And in December, it was 687,000. So what that tells us is prices are starting to soften up a little bit, right? By 42,000 as an average. That's pretty good. So prices are getting a little bit better. 645,000 is your median sales price for the end of January 2024. All right. Um, Homes for sale. So this tells us how many listings there are. This is where a lot of the problems and issues have come in over the last few years, is not enough inventory. So at the end of January, we had 488 units. That includes land, residential, and condominiums, right? 488. Now, if you go back pre-COVID, uh, that was in about 1900, right? Um, Today it's sitting at 488 units. That's 36 less units than they had in December. All right. The next sector that we want to talk about is days on market, right? DOM. This tells us how quickly properties are going under contract. Now, even though inventory is low, look at your days on market here. They're 26, right? So when you see an increase of days on market, that means it's taking longer for those properties to go under contract. Whether there's less buyers, in December and January, whether the interest rates are holding some people back. There could be a bunch of different scenarios going on. However, at the end of January, it was taking 26 days for a property to go under contract, whereas in December, it was only 17. So an extra 11 days to put your house under contract. It's not a lot, but it is going up, which means it's taking longer to put those properties under contract. However, I think you're going to see this number go back down for February, March, and April and the ongoing months. That's just my opinion. Just because of spring market and there'll be more buyers out there, right? So properties will go under contract quicker. So months of supply, this tells us how many months of supply. So if no other properties came on the market, we would run out of inventory. The shelves would be bare at 1.7 months. So anything under 4 months is a seller's market. We've talked about this many, many times. 5 to 6 months is a neutral market, and then anything of 6 months or more of inventory is a buyer's market. We've been in a seller's market for years. At the end of January, it's 1.7 months of inventory, and in December, it was 1.9. Of course, our inventory went down, so your months of supply number is going to go down as well. The percentage of list to sales price at the end of January was 98.2, and in December, it was 99.9. Scott, what does all that mean? What that means is if you list your house for $1 million back in November, the average on these stats that I'm going over with you, the average was that you would If you asked a million, that you would get a million, right? And then in December, that went to 99. So that means if you asked a million, you would get 999,000. Today, if you had your house on the market for a million, you would get 980,000. So what that tells me as an agent is I think sellers are starting to negotiate a little bit, right? And they might be willing to give up a little bit. Um, Whereas in the past, it seemed like they weren't willing to negotiate, or um, the buyers didn't have to, they weren't in the position to negotiate. But today, at the end of January 2024, you're sitting at 98.2%, which is still a phenomenal price to get for your property. Back in the day, 3 years ago, um, you know, we were getting like before COVID, we were getting like 90, let me just see here. COVID, we were getting 20, we're getting 97.5. So we're still getting stronger offers, and we're getting more list to sale price money than we were before COVID, which is good, right? The next thing we're going to talk about is the prices per square feet. So if you're thinking about building, $415 is your price per square foot for the end of January. December, it was $452, so it dropped about $37. So maybe things that the government is doing with the interest rate to kind of curb down inflation a little bit is helping. Anytime you see a number like that go down, that's telling us that materials and possibly labor are coming down a little bit, right? As opposed to keep going up like you saw over here, right? I mean, just before COVID, it was $284 a square foot. If you were lucky enough to build a house, March of 2020, and today it's, double that and then some. All right. The other thing I wanted to go over with you is interest rates. I'm just going to go and just stop my share. So let's talk about interest rates, right? There's been a lot of talk about that on the internet and on the news. So as interest rates go down, your buying power goes up, right? 30-year fixed, 6.88. 15-year fixed, 6.29. 30-year jumbo, which is $750,000 financed or more, right? Jumbo, 7.25. Now, for anybody taking an FHA, 30-year FHA is 6.17. Fantastic rate, right? And a 30-year VA, Veterans Administration, 6.18. And the 30-year Federal Administration FHA was 6.17. So those are phenomenal rates. Just a few months ago, those were in the high sevens, close to 8%. And it wouldn't take much to get those down to 5.99. Will we see that? I think so. Will we see 5.5? Well, perhaps. Will we see 4.99? I'm not sure. We'll have to see how things go. But I know that the feds are going to be making some changes to the interest rates over the next 3 to 6 months, I would say. We may see something maybe even next month. Who knows? But right now, those rates are looking promising. So for all you buyers out there who've been waiting on the sidelines a little bit, waiting to, make these houses more affordable and get the rates down, might be a good time to jump in and start looking again and lock into a property. And who knows, 35, 45 days from now, maybe the rates will be even better. But either way, we're here to help you. Thank you so much for watching another episode of State of the Market here, ending January of 2024. If there's anything we can do, you have any questions, shoot me an email at sjzaino@gmail.com. Give me a buzz at 508-566-0051. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.